Hey everybody, Mr. G here, just talking about multiplying mixed numbers. Again, I hope everyone is safe and everyone is healthy, and we know we all miss you. So let's start using an area model. The first thing we have to do is decompose our fraction. Like in the past, we multiplied larger numbers or we multiplied decimals, we've decomposed the number into each box. So I have 2 1/3. Because multiplication is commutative, I know the order in which I multiply doesn't make a difference. But I like to start with my first fraction, my whole number here, and my 1/3 here. Knowing that my second fraction will go on top, my whole number first, and then my 1/2. So the first thing I need to do is recognize my operation is multiplication. So 2 wholes times 3 wholes equals 6 wholes. Now I want to take 2 times 1/2. I want to make sure I multiply both. So 2 times 1/2 can be done two ways. Either the whole number over 1 times 1/2, which equals 2 over 2, or we can use repeated addition, knowing that it means copies of. So it'd be 1/2 plus 1/2. So I went over here, 1/2 plus 1/2 still equals 2 over 2. And we know whenever we have the same number on top as the bottom, or the same number in the numerator and denominator, that equals 1 whole. So I'll circle that. So here I recognize I have 1 whole, so I'm going to circle a 1, making sure it's separate. Now I want to take 1/3 times 3, which is going to be 3 copies of 1/3, or 3/3. I could put the 3 as a whole number over 1 and multiply it by 1/3, giving me 3 over 3. Or I can do 3 copies of 1/3. 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 still equals 3/3. And we know that equals 1. So inside here, I can write 1 and circle it, knowing I have a whole number and a whole number. Then I have 1/3 times 1/2. Well, when multiplying fractions, I'm just multiplying across. So that's going to give me 1/6. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 3, or 3 times 2, is 6. So now I have to take all this and put it together. So I like to do things vertically. So I have 6 plus 1 plus 1. And then I have 1/6. So that goes over here. And when I do my math, I have 6 plus 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8, plus my partial is 1/6. So I know when multiplying 2 1/3 times 3 1/2 using an area model, my answer is going to be 8 1/6. I can also use repeated addition when I'm multiplying my fractions. So I'm going to use another example for you, but I'm going to pause the video, erase, and come right back. Okay, I'm going to give you one more example using the area model. Multiplying mixed numbers, 5 1/2 times 4 1/5. We're going to repeat the same exact process. So I decompose my fraction. I like to put my first fraction, like I said, on the left. 5 1/2. Separate my second fraction, 4 1/5. Again, they can be on the other sides, but they have to stay together. 4 1/5 has to be together, and 5 1/5 have to be together. But because we know the commutative property of multiplication means the order in which they're multiplied doesn't change our product. So, again, my whole numbers. 5 times 4. Basic fact, 20. 5 times 1/5. So 2 ways we can do 5 over 1 times 1/5, and that's going to equal 5/5. Or back to the repeated addition, in case we can't, we're just going to do 1/5 plus 1/5. You can see repeated addition works, but it takes much longer. It's a lot more writing, and that means a lot more room for error. 5 times means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5/5 still equals 1, no matter how we do it. And then I have 4 times 1/2. So I can put 4 over 1 times 1/2, and that's going to give me 4/2. We know that's an improper fraction, so I have more than a whole, because 2 over 2 would give me 1. Well, 4 over 2 equals 2. And then 1/2 times 1/5 is going to give me 1/10. And now I have to add up all my sums, all my products. So I have 20 plus 5 over 5, or 1, plus 2, plus 1/10. The reason I place 1/10 over here is this because it's really less than a whole, so it's 0 and 1/10. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Bring my 2 down, 20, 23, and 1/10 is my complete product. When multiplying fractions, don't forget, we need to make sure we separate or decompose our numbers. We put them in the appropriate boxes, and then we multiply. We can use repeated addition. I'm hoping that these 2 extra examples help. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me or go to my Google Classroom and write me a note. Have a great day, everyone.